In the Year of the Boar and Jackie Robinson, Chapter 2, February, A Journey of 10,000 Miles. Words to know. Immigration, a place where visitors register if they want to make that country their new home. For thousands of foreign visitors, their first stop in America was at Immigration on Ellis Island in New York. Dapper, neat and smart in appearance. The bow tie and nice hat made the man look quite dapper. Skeptical, doubting. The man looked skeptical when the small child wanted to ride the bicycle on her own. Rebuke, strong criticism or disapproval. My coach gives me a lot of praise, but is gentle when he needs to rebuke me. Let's get started. The sea was not calm nor green, deep green like jade. It writhed like a fierce black dragon with chili peppers up its snout. And Shirley never saw the skies. She lingered in her bunk throughout the month-long journey to San Francisco with no appetite for food, much less adventure. Mother, though, never faltered. As giant waves sent slippers, suitcases, tables, and the chair she sat in, slithering to and fro across the floor, she knit on, unperturbed. If she did cry out, it was not because she had crashed into the wall, but because she had dropped a stitch. Father had always claimed that his wife was like no other. It was true. Mother was unique. Everyday things like the tiniest cockroach or a gentle tap on the back made her shriek. Extraordinary things did not alarm her. Shirley knew better than to ask Mother to remove a splinter. Even a droplet of blood made her cringe. Yet, when Precious Coins was about to be born in the hospital miles away with bombs falling like hailstones, it was Mother alone who soothed the frantic household and quietly delivered the baby. And now she who had never dared go even to the nearest market without a companion had taken charge of their journey of 10,000 miles. At last the ocean ended, and the ship hiccuped to a halt at the harbor. Amidable! The queasiness was gone. Shirley felt like Shirley again, not like a sick toad. Just a little bit of a background on this word that Bandit keeps using, this amidaba. It means infinite light. Sorry, I go back there. Infinite light. So it's kind of our way of saying, thank goodness, or, oh, I'm so glad that's over kind of thing. That's just her way of saying that. So just a little background on that. Hurry, Mother said, taking her by the hand. We must not miss the train. Shirley could hardly keep up with her as she snaked her way through the crowd of travelers. At every stop, whether immigration or customs, she alone gave the magic password. For not once did they have to fill out extra forms. Not once were their bags opened. All the inspectors seemed bewitched by the lovely, slim Chinese woman who was in such a hurry. Outside there was a torrential rain. Somehow Mother found a taxi, and it delivered them to the station not a minute too soon. Only when they were safe in their compartment, when nothing serious could go wrong, did Mother fret. What if Father is not there to meet us? But you wrote. What if the letter was lost? You sent 3. I did? You told me yourself. What if I made a mistake in the address? You couldn't have, not on all 3. The what-ifs continued, and Shirley tried not to smile. It was so like Mother to tame a den of tigers and then jump at the sound of a kitten's meow. Throughout the journey across the United States, Shirley stared out the window. But she remembered nothing of what she saw. Her thoughts were always with Father. Father, who knew how everything worked. Was he not an engineer with a diploma from Shanghai to prove it? Had he not explained why the stars twinkled and how submarines slunk beneath the seas? When she asked why people must die, he had said, because we must make room and give others a turn to live. And he could fix anything. Lamps that refused to light, doors that squeaked, even quarrels, except for the one between grand-grand-aunt and grand-grand-uncle. How she missed him. As the wheels of the train clacked along the tracks, they seemed to chant, 4 more days, 4 more days, 3 days, just 3 days, only 2, tomorrow, tomorrow, today. At last it was the hour when their year-long separation would end. Shirley clutched her seat, afraid joy would launch her through the ceiling and whisk her high above the clouds. She fixed her gaze on Mother, who twisted her handkerchief nervously, smiling at someone who was not yet there. Can we go now? Better wait till the train has come to a stop. You wouldn't want to fall and skin your knee just before you see Father. I'll be careful. We will be there soon enough. Now? The train is slowing down. Soon. Now? Now. Hand in hand, they made their way down the crowded aisle toward the exit, peering out the windows at the people waiting on the platform. There he is, Mother whispered. Where? By the far pillar. I see him. Father, Father! Shirley freed herself and burrowed through the passengers to the door. Leaping off the train, she ran to the dapper man in a bow tie. He lifted her into his arms and swung her about, hugging her tightly. What disgraceful behavior, he exclaimed in a mocking tone, so familiar that it made her teary. Has your mother taught you no shame, embracing in public? Who are you, anyway? Father, it's me, Shirley. Shirley Temple Wong. He shook with laughter. Shirley? Where did you get such a name? She started to explain, but suddenly he was still. He set her down. Before them stood Mother. Her face looked so solemn. His did too. Something was happening. Mother did not blink when a man smashed a bottle nearby. Father did not react when another jostled him. For a long moment, Mother and Father simply glowed, as if they were caught in a spell. Father bowed. It is good that you are here, my wife. It is good to be here, my husband. Mother, too, bowed. Taking one of Father's hands in her left and one of Mother's in her right, Shirley jumped up and down. Take us home, Father. Take us home. Home was Brooklyn, New York, but Shirley would not know that for a while. To her, it was simply Mi-gyu, beautiful country. In the taxi, her parents talked in whispers, while Shirley oogled the tall buildings. But no matter how she scrunched, she could not see if their roofs curved skyward like the temples of China, or were topped with straw like the homes of peasants. Now and then she waved, even though the streets as wide and as straight as the airstrip in Chungking were empty. Where were the bicycles and rickshaws, the mules and the carts? How did people market? There were no peddlers or farmers' stalls. But the strangest of all, where were all the people? In Chungking, there were always people. Surely somebody lived in those tall buildings. Surely. Shirley could not know that it was Sunday, a day when everyone stayed put, except to go to church, and the tall buildings held only offices. As the taxi approached the Brooklyn Bridge, Shirley gasped. She wanted to jump out and touch it. Never had she seen anything like it before, not even in pictures. How was it held upright? Surely not by the ropes that looked like Mother's knitting stretched out. Here's a picture of the Brooklyn Bridge for you. You can see how it's held up by what looks like a rope, and it brought to mind the material that Bandit's mother uses when she knits. Beautiful, isn't it? Sometimes Shirley wondered why she was not afraid, but there was too much magic in this new place for her to question it. And besides, she was with Father. Once more she took his hand. Soon after crossing the bridge, the taxi stopped. The houses here were short, just a few stories high. They were built of stone, and they all looked exactly alike. They stood directly on the street, unprotected by garden walls. Steps leading to doors went up and down from the ground. "We are here," Father announced. Shirley's new home was on the 3rd floor. Altogether, the place was barely larger than her own room had been in the clan compound. But her disappointment did not last, for Father was so proud of it. "Look at these walls," he boasted. "I spent an entire week cleaning every inch with a scouring pad." This is an example of what Shirley's talking about with their apartment. They're called brownstones. You can see that they're all connected. They all look exactly the same, and they all have stairs leading up from the street. A sofa and chair covered in a faded floral pattern sagged where people had sat. Set against the wall was a square table and 3 straight-backed chairs without dragon feet. In the middle of the room was a plain, unlacquered screen. It hid the only purchase Father had made, a brass bed for 2. "Where will I sleep, Father?" "Ah," Father opened a door. "For you, my daughter, a more special place." Behind the door was a place with drawers up to the ceiling on both sides. Pulling out the bottom ones, he flipped 3 cushions over. "A fine bed for you. Try it." Shirley lay down. "I knew it," Father beamed. "Just your size." Shirley nodded, although she wondered what would happen if she grew another inch. Perhaps Father thought she had reached her full height. "Come along, I'll show you the kitchen." It did not look at all like a kitchen. No hanging ducks or hams, no woodpile or soot, no picture of the kitchen god, just a tiny room with a washing bowl and 2 white boxes. "Where's the cook?" Mother asked. This time, Father's crooked smile was even more crooked than usual. In America, all cooks work in restaurants. "Must we eat out every meal?" Shirley wondered. "In America," Father continued, "the wife cooks." "Then we shall starve," Shirley thought. Unlike the aunties, Mother had never had any interest in preparing food. Father opened the bigger of the white boxes. "It's easy. Everything needed is in here." Eggs hung in the door. Bottles with colored fluid stood on a shelf. There were beans, spinach, and oranges in one drawer, slabs of meat in another. Peeking inside, Shirley got goosebumps from the cold, but she couldn't find the window. She tugged Father's coat. "I don't see the window to go outside," she said. Why do you think it is that Shirley is looking for a window in the refrigerator? Talk about that to yourself. Father laughed. "This, Shirley Temple Wong, is an icebox, a machine that cools food and keeps it from spoiling. In America, you only have to mark it once a week, not every day." "And I suppose," Mother said, "in America, the wife does that too?" "That's right." For a moment, Shirley thought Mother was going to cry, but she didn't. Instead, after a while, she said, "Well then, I shall learn to cook and shop. And launder too, my wife. But for cooking and washing, you will have help." Mother sighed. "Thank Buddha for the servant." "Oh, no, not that kind of help." Smiling as he did whenever he was about to reveal a wonderful secret, Father struck a match and put it on top of the second white box. Poof! Out came blue fire. Off went Mother to hug the wall. "A stove fit for a banquet," Father laughed. Shirley dared not. Father opened another door. Behind it was what Shirley recognized as a tiny room for bathing, even though the tub was neither tall nor round nor of wood. It was white, and inside it stood a large metallic can. Father took out a hose and attached it to the nozzle, called forth water that filled the metal can to overflowing. "Watch carefully," he said, looking up with that smile again. Mother stepped backwards, but Shirley, anxious to prove her mettle, her bravery, leaned forward an inch. "Are you watching?" The new arrivals nodded uncertainly as he dumped a cup full of blue powder